goes like this, from the left to the right, all day or night. It doesn't make a diff, the Black Sheep kicks some stuff that is hype. Without a curse, and I won't slur, but excuse me, sir. Let's continue.
When William Mista Lawnge McLean met Mike G of the Jungle Brothers and DJ Red Alert, they encouraged him to start his own hip-hop group after they witnessed his DJ set at a show in the early 80s. Barely in his teens and on the shorter end of the spectrum, Lawnge, known then as Shorty Doo-Wop, needed to stand on milk crates to even reach the turntables. His skills, though, were undeniable, and he blew everyone within earshot away. Later, Lawnge, the producer, would go on to recruit Dres Titus, the rapper and lyricist, to form the hip-hop group Black Sheep in 1989. Even though the duo was said to be from Brooklyn and Queens, New York, respectively, they actually met as teenagers in Sanford, North Carolina, where both of their families relocated at one point. Music was always in the cards for Dres. He grew up with musical parents who sung in bands, and he himself won numerous talent shows as a child singing R&B. He also played the trumpet in his high school's marching band and jazz ensemble. Born in Brooklyn, Lawnge was just 2 when his father died, and his mother moved to Sanford to be close to her parents. He would still get sent back regularly to New York, though, to visit his father's family. On one such visit, he linked up with DJ Red Alert. Lawnge was soon spending his summers with the Jungle Brothers, De La Soul, and A Tribe Called Quest, just as they were creating the hip-hop collective Native Tongues. Lawnge was also able to do minor cuts and scratches on a few of the artist's songs. As soon as he graduated high school, several years after Dres, it was goodbye Sanford and hello New York City once again. But even with the connections he'd already made, he still had difficulty finding an MC to partner with. He was close to giving up when he bumped into none other than his old friend Dres. Dres had his own apartment in the city, so he offered Lawnge a place to stay, and they got right to work. As Black Sheep, Dres and Lawnge also became part of the Native Tongues Collective, a crew of like-minded hip-hop artists who would help bring abstract and open-minded lyricism to the masses that addressed a range of topics. The duo would make the interesting decision to sign with Mercury Polygram, a label that didn't have much experience dealing with hip-hop artists at all. Dres explained years later that they actually liked the fact that the label made them feel like the duo would be doing them a favor by signing, instead of the other way around. Just before they could get their own project out, the duo made their first official appearance as Black Sheep on their Native Tongues Collective cohort, De La Soul's 1991 album, De La Soul Is Dead. Black Sheep then hit the music scene with their very first track called Flavor of the Month, and later released their debut album, A Wolf in Sheep's Clothing, in October 1991. Their first single stirred up a little bit of controversy between the duo and another major artist in the genre at the time. In the intro, Lawnge is heard saying, Dres thought the lyrics could be interpreted as a diss to 2 very popular artists, Vanilla Ice and Big Daddy Kane, especially the latter since Dres was a big fan. When questioned about it, Lawnge insisted that all he was saying was that they, Black Sheep, were the new flavor people should be paying attention to. After the record dropped, everyone, including Big Daddy Kane's brother, were not feeling that specific lyric at all. Then, as the leader of the group, Dres, not Lawnge, was the one everyone targeted with their displeasure. Later, Kane himself attended a Black Sheep show where he was given a respectful shout-out by the duo to proactively squash any potential beef. The album's second single also created a major buzz, but for very different reasons. The Choice Is Yours, Revisited, captured the #1 spot on the Hot Rap Singles chart and became the song the group would be best known for.
The choice is yours. You can get with this, or you can get with that. You can get with this, or you can get with that.
But it almost wasn't. There are actually 2 versions of the song on the duo's album, the original and the revisited version. The decision had already been made to put out the original as the next single. That is, until everyone heard this particular beat Lawnge was working on, minus any lyrics for another artist. It was clear that the track was going to be a hit no matter what. So Dres convinced Lawnge that they should keep it and use it themselves. In June 1992, Black Sheep made history, becoming the first hip-hop act to perform on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno. Unfortunately, Black Sheep failed to take advantage of the momentum of their debut. It took them 3 years before releasing their next album, Nonfiction, and by this time, the rap world had moved on. In 1994, Nas, Biggie, Outkast, and the Fugees all released their debut albums. Snoop, Tupac, and Wu-Tang were at the top of the heap. Black Sheep had done little to create buzz in the years between releases, and now had to play catch-up. The holdup apparently had a lot to do with the duo's production style. Samples, which they used quite a bit, were expensive and time-consuming to clear, so the record label kept putting them off. Their sophomore effort managed to achieve only lackluster sales in comparison to their debut. Years later, Dres would say in interviews that he believes that the album didn't do well because fans really wanted a Wolf in Sheep's Clothing Part 2, which they could have done, but opted not to in favor of showcasing a different side of themselves. Lawnge would also cite issues with their label, as well as personal conflicts between him and Dres. After over a decade together, Black Sheep disbanded in 1995, citing creative differences. It shouldn't go unmentioned, though, that the timing of the dissolvement of their record company, too, played a role. Lawnge went on to do tracks and remixes for other artists, while Dres continued to release various projects as a solo artist. In 2006, a short-lived reunion would happen, and another Black Sheep project would finally be released. The album, originally released as a download-only project, titled 8WM Novocaine, was put out under the name Black Sheep, but with Lawnge only appearing on a few tracks. He would end up splitting from the group just before the album's release. Years later, Dres explained that the tension between the duo all started with his suggestion to Lawnge that he reach out to some other producers to help put some tracks together, since, at the time, Lawnge didn't even have his own equipment. Apparently, that idea didn't sit well with him, and he chose to vent his frustration by working on his own solo project behind Dres's back, with the equipment Dres bought him, no less. Dres helped him out because Lawnge was struggling financially at the time. Lawnge also kept coming to shows and taking his half of the money, but didn't or wouldn't attend studio sessions or label meetings. Then their mutually shared publicist dropped the bomb on Dres about the secret album. The news ended the relationship for good. That body of work Lawnge was working on ended up being released as a mixtape called The Class of '89. For a time, A Tribe Called Quest member Jerobi and Dres came together to form a new duo called Evitan, Native spelled backwards, and a take from the moniker of their original Native Tongues crew. In 2016, there was talk of a tour to celebrate the 25th anniversary of their debut album. Announcements were made on the group's social media accounts, and a dedicated website was launched. However, there doesn't seem to be concrete proof anywhere that the tour actually took place. It appears that for now, Dres and Lawnge have gone their separate ways for the foreseeable future as they continue to be estranged. Lawnge doesn't appear to make music publicly anymore, but he did launch a YouTube talk show in 2020 called Guess Who's Talking, interviewing well-known guests from a variety of industries, including entertainment, sports, and business. Dres, on the other hand, stays in the studio and continues to release his own solo projects regularly. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and comment. Also, don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications so you won't miss any future videos. See you next time!